Hey guys, my name's Armando, but you can call me Mondo. This is a bonus video to my Android versus iOS series. I have been receiving a lot of private messages and comments on topics of what I should be talking about. So in this video, I'm opening it up to you guys and cover some of those topics and frequently asked questions. Let's get started. So my first question is from Special No-Go, and he asks, wicked for you to see. Can you explain how to play PS3 games and N64 games with a PS3 controller? The controller that you saw in my video series is not a PS3 controller, even though it does look like one. Go to PhoneJoy, that's PhoneJoy.us. Check out their controllers. They sell them. They're all Bluetooth. I believe they have one or two models, and they're compatible with Android, and I believe iOS is also coming soon. You can play all of different emulators, and a lot of games have support for that Bluetooth. You just have to download their app. I think it's called Blues IZME. Here, I'll show you really quick. I don't know if you guys can see that. Once you pair it, you turn it on, and that's basically it. It works like magic. The next question is from 28 Golden Boy, and he writes, hey, can you reply to a YouTube comment while watching it through Android 2.2 Froyo? Yes, you can. I am running Android 2.2 on the Galaxy S. As you can see here, let me go ahead and hit play. I'm in the info section. Okay, if I swipe over to the comments area, I can write a comment while watching the video. So yes, to answer your question, you can do it on Android 2.2 and above. My next question is from David Jung 03, and a lot of people have been asking, where did you get the icons and weather widget? Again, you should do a video on all the customizations you did and what apps you used. Guys, I do plan on making a video very soon and showing how I customize my Nexus, so stay tuned. Also, I want to make videos that you guys want to see, so make sure you leave your comments below. Let me know whether you want me to compare a specific tablet or OS. I'm leaving it up to you guys to decide what videos I should make. Remy79 asks, what's your technical expertise? Are you a reviewer from recognized firm or something? Remy, I am a graphic designer by trade. However, I'm also a developer, and I own several software companies. Crazy Ald writes, you forgot the notification light on some phones. That's very useful. What Crazy Ald is talking about is the notification light up here on the front of the phone. And he's right, that is very useful. And as a matter of fact, you can customize that depending on what type of message you're receiving. So for example, if it's Facebook, you can make it the LED light up blue. So it is very useful. As I'm driving and I have my phone there, if I see a blue notification, I know that somebody has commented on Facebook. If it's green, it's an SMS. And he's absolutely right. That is a very good plus on Android for having the ability to do that on most phones, as a matter of fact. However, there are some that don't have that, but yes, that is a convenience and a very nice feature to have. Tim O asks, how much did you get from Android to make this video? Tim, I really wish that Google would have paid me to make this video, but I'm not getting any money, except for the AdSense, of course. But no, Google did not pay, and if anybody from Google is watching and would like to send me something, I will gladly accept that. My next question is from Dead Souls, and he asks, mate, take a look at the Asus Transformer. I haven't used it, but I would bet it blows the iPad 3 out of the competition. Why don't you do a video on that? I do plan on making a video on that. And like I said before, you guys decide what videos you want me to make. So I've been seeing that comment, or that Asus Transformer versus iPad 3 come up a lot. So that is one of the videos I do plan on making. So make sure and stay tuned on that, because that one's going to be very, very good. Especially with this video series, it's going to talk about why I think the iPad is still the more dominant tablet. Another similar question that I've been seeing a lot, and this is from Dom Nugio, sorry if I'm not spelling that right, or saying that right. Can you please compare Android with Windows Phone 7.5 Mango? I think Windows Phone 7 is a better competition to Android than iOS. Again, you guys decide, and I have been seeing Windows 7 versus Android a lot, so that's also part of the series. And again, please subscribe, let your friends know. I plan on continuing series like this, and you guys decide my next videos. And yes, I have put that one in the queue, so stay tuned on that one too. Dr. Reventon asks, I would like to suggest you complaining about iTunes in the part 4 of your Versus series of videos. There is just no way to fast simply transfer a MP3 or a photo to your smartphone using iTunes. You have to go through a syncing process and so on. So let me show you what he means on that. So transferring files to your PC or phone is very easy. Let me show you an application called Wi-Fi File Explorer. You go ahead and load up that application, and then it'll give you an address to type into your address bar. Okay? Once you've done that, you can pretty much see everything that is in your SD card. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and transfer Master of Puppets, the MP3. Once you've selected the file, all you need to do is upload it. Okay, and as you can see, it is uploading right now. And you can do the same, vice versa. You can download files from your SD card onto your desktop, and it's really simple. So once you've done that and completed that, I'm going to go ahead and click done because the transfer is complete. I'm going to go ahead and click on, let's use Root Explorer to show you that Master of Puppets is in there. Go ahead and click on SD card. Oops, there it is. I passed it, sorry. Okay. You can also use Google Music and it'll work just fine. So again, this is a really nice, let me go ahead and pause that. This is a really nice application that you can download. Again, it's called Wi-Fi File Explorer, and it's very useful and easy to transfer any file that you want onto your phone or computer. So I've been getting a lot of comments about when I'm going to talk about Android's fragmentation problem. And to be honest, I don't believe that there is a problem. You know, if you really think about PCs, you know, PCs, for example, Windows XP is a 10-year-old, over 10 years old. It was released in 2001, and people still use Windows XP. Everything that I've shown in this video series, you can do with Android 2.2 Froyo and above. So I think the problem is that people, since they always want the latest and greatest, they feel like they're missing out. But the reality is that Android 2.2 is a more advanced operating system than iOS. And that is a fact as far as what you can do. Let me break it down to you right now. Android 4.0. By the way, you can go to Wikipedia and find this out. They have all the full information on Wikipedia. Android 4.0. 2.9% of the people are using Android 4.0 and above. We'll call it by their name, Ice Cream Sandwich. 3.3% of the world is using Honeycomb. Okay, 63.7% of the people out there are using Gingerbread. Okay, that's basically the whole what I call the meat and potatoes, the big slot there. And 23.1% are using Froyo. When you add all those numbers up, you have 70% of the world using a smartphone that is more capable than iOS current version 5.1. Okay? So with that being said, I don't believe there's a fragmentation issue. You know, all of the applications, or most of the applications, are always able to run, you know, 2.2 and above. Usually that's the case. You know, of course, if you have an older phone, you should really upgrade. And I think anybody that has anything under 2.2, you know what, it's like having the first iPhone. You really can't argue about that, okay? Now, with that being said, if you really think about iPhone, I don't believe that 70% of the iPhone users are using an iPhone 4 or iPhone 4S. And the reason why I bring that up is because Apple also has, I don't know if you want to call it fragmentation issues, but they also have issues where not everybody gets Siri, or not everybody gets a specific application because of, for whatever reason, the phone is not able, or tablet not being able to handle that. So, you know, with Apple, you have that same issue. You know, if I had a 3GS, sorry, I don't get Siri. So I am forced to upgrade to always get the latest and greatest. So again, I don't believe that the fragmentation issue is something that I believe is blown out of proportion. If I'm using my Galaxy S phone, again, I'm very happy with it. I can do everything that I'm currently doing now. Granted, Ice Cream Sandwich is a lot easier to use, and Google has done a really great job in making the OS a lot better. So yeah, you do get a cleaner version of the operating system. However, you're still not limited. So once again, that's one of the reasons why I don't really care too much about fragmentation, is because, again, if you want the latest and greatest, you have to go out and spend the money and buy the latest and greatest phone out there. I'll be honest, if it wasn't for the 4G and a couple other things that the Nexus has, I wouldn't really upgrade. I was happy with what I had, and you know, the Galaxy S, I believe, stopped at Gingerbread, which I would have been happy using Gingerbread. No different than using the iPhone now today. So a couple of the questions that I want to address that I've been receiving is, did I still cut the rope? No, I did not still cut the rope. I actually bought it, and that was just a demo showing that, so I did not still cut the rope. The other question is, or I've been seeing a lot of questions, is that I am rooted. Yes, I am rooted, but again, everything that I've shown you so far does not require root access, so it doesn't really matter. The other question that I've been receiving a lot, or I've been seeing a lot, is that this video series is one-sided on Android. Now, when I started making the video series, it was about how everybody was complaining that Android's very hard to use and that iPhone is much easier and better. The whole video series is to show and prove that that is not the case. That Android is actually in most cases, much more easier. I would say 90% of the time is much easier to do and achieve things that iOS takes a lot more steps. So this isn't really a comparison between iPhone or iOS and Android. It's more of the experience that I had. Now, if you guys want a fair comparison, I can do a video of that. So you let me know if you want to do that. But this video series is not about Android and iOS as a fair comparison. It's more about the truth about how the Android system allows you to do things a lot more simpler. So let's clarify that first. I don't want people to think, oh, you know, he's a fanboy. Yeah, I get it. You know, I love technology, so I'm going to be a fanboy of just anything. But again, I wanted to clarify that that is the reason why it seems like it's one-sided. But I'm just showing you the benefits of Android over iOS and the misconceptions that a lot of people have that, you know, the iPhone is much better and easier to use, and so on and so forth. And the last question comes from David Stroy, which received a lot of thumbs up, and he writes, I really like your reasoning, and I would very much like to see what you think are the advantages of iOS over Android, or what features and ideas in iOS would you like to see in Android. I also believe this would pretty much diffuse fanboy comments and help us get a better picture, even as subjective as it is from one user's perspective, like yourself. This answer could be a video on its own, but the biggest advantage iOS has is that Apple controls both the software and the hardware. This ensures that everyone gets an equal experience across the board. With Android, you have manufacturers adding their own flavor on top of the OS. I think this has been Android's biggest downfall, not so much in fragmentation or updates, but rather their added bloatware that they have. In most cases, things like MotoBlur, Sense, or TouchWiz slow the phone down and cause the lagginess that everyone is talking about. I get these companies are trying to add their flair to stand out and make people want to buy their phone, but they should focus more on hardware rather than software. I have zero lag on my Galaxy Nexus, and the experience is pure, just how it is on the iPhone. What I would like to see more from Android is more phones that are vanilla. Let the users customize their phones how they want it. If Samsung wants to create TouchWiz, let them create it in a form as a launcher rather than incorporating into the phone. This is why I believe Mac computers grew so fast. Not because PCs suck, it's because companies like Dell, Toshiba, Gateway, etc. added bloatware like AOL, antiviruses, and all of this bloatware that slowed the PC down to the point where it was almost unusable. So the Mac was a pure experience and people loved it. Hopefully more manufacturers will see this and learn. I hope you enjoyed this bonus video. I am excited about the feedback that this series has been receiving, so be sure that I will keep this channel open. As I stated before, I would like for you to comment below and give me ideas on topics of what I should talk about for my future videos, whether it's Android versus Windows Phone, the new iPad versus Transformer Prime, or just tips and tricks. Again, you decide. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.